is Great Britain bowing down to Islam this time? In what area of our public life are we prostrating ourselves to Mecca this time? It could be any of them. It could be, of course, police, because we do know that policing is dominated by Islam. And I do mean dominated, that's the right word to use. Policing is subject to Islam. So you can have grotesque crimes carried out by Muslims, either against their fellow Muslims or against us, the kuffar, carrying on relatively uninhibited. But whatever you do, don't be an Islamophobe. When 22 people were murdered in Manchester, the police spared no time. They couldn't wait to get to the local mosques to reassure everyone that they would be safe from any potential backlash, which never comes. Even senior police, after Manchester, went to local mosques to hold up a copy of the Quran, get nice photographs of themselves and reassure Muslims that they were on their side. A year on from the Manchester atrocity, and the media was awash with Muslims telling us how awful it had been, being subjected to such terrible, nasty words on Twitter all year long. How terrible for them. But on this occasion, it isn't the police bowing down to Islam. It could be education, because we also know that schools and universities also dominated by Islam. Whether it's teachers' unions passing motions, sanitising and promoting the hijab, or whether it's your kid being forced to go to listen to denunciation of Western society in a mosque, whether you like it or not, or whether it's universities banning speakers who dare to point out the monstrosity of Sharia law, education too is dominated by Islam. It could be government, national or local, because we all know that the politicians spare no time after every atrocity, whatever story it might be, praising Islam, sanitising Islam and making sure the mullahs and the imams know whose side they are on. Theresa May spared no time after one of the many terror attacks in the last few years in standing in Parliament and lying to us that this was a perversion of a great faith. It wasn't a perversion of a great faith, it was a literal reading of a great faith, which if she knew what she was talking about and she had an ounce of honesty would have said so. Or it could be local government obsessed with diversity and doing nothing about FGM or child marriage or any of the other terrible, horrible crimes committed in the name of Islam in this country with impunity. But on this occasion, it's not national or local government either. It could be the NHS, it could be a vast number of areas of public life. But not on this occasion. On this occasion, it is the military. On this occasion, it is the British Army. Yes, you heard correctly. The British Army are now bowing down to Islam. And if you didn't know, which you probably do, last week Tommy Robinson met with a group of young cadets at a service station. And they had a photograph taken together, heaven forbid. One of them was discharged from the army, and the others, I hear, are being sent on inclusivity and diversity courses to better understand how bigoted they are. Something that's now going around on social media, and I'll link to it below, I can't vouch for it, but there's no reason to suggest that it isn't legitimate, is a secret recording within the army telling people about Tommy Robinson and to avoid him. One of the lines that is used in this is that they are fighting, the British Army fights the Queen's enemies all over the world. Now this is very interesting to me. He is telling his, presumably other soldiers, that while they fight the Queen's enemies, they have to stay the hell away from Tommy Robinson. Now it makes you wonder, doesn't it, who exactly he means by the Queen's enemies? Because our open advocates of Sharia law, of the Caliphate, of the complete destruction of Britain, who are welcomed, who are given retreats by the British Army, imams on retreat by the British Army, and they are not deemed, they openly say they want to destroy, they're open enemies of Britain, and yet somehow they're not deemed to be the Queen's enemy. The Queen's enemy, it seems, is Tommy Robinson, a man who has given up and sacrificed a peaceful life, any chance at a peaceful life, in order to stand up for Britain, the country he loves. So to be clear, if you hate Britain, you're not the Queen's enemy. If you love Britain, you are the Queen's enemy. Who'd have thought? But mind you, it actually fits. It makes sense, because down is the new up. Islam is seeping into every single area of life in this country. Wherever you look, whatever the issue, there it is. That's what it does. Islam dominates. It doesn't compromise, it dominates. Another area you can see it is food. Halal is everywhere, and you're going to be eating it whether you like it or not. And it's a typical example of Islam. It doesn't compromise. Muslims must have halal, therefore everyone must have halal. And the idea that Muslims would accept, well, hold on, most people aren't Muslim here. Why should we be demanding halal and making everyone else eat? No, that's not inclusivity. But no, there is no compromise with Islam. Islam dominates everything it touches. That's what it does. It's just being Islam. And in the same way that the water pouring onto the Titanic was just being water, Islam is just being Islam. And the effect, the impact, the end result will be pretty similar to what happened to the Titanic. Here's the thing. You can stop this. You can. Do not let anyone tell you it's too late. It's not. We are still the vast majority, and Muslims are only a tiny minority. Their religion is causing them to dominate, but if we grew a backbone and stood up to it, we could stop it. We could stop it in its tracks and save this country. There is a way for you to do it, and that is to join for Britain. Don't sit around waiting. Join us. You must join us. We can do this. You know that we are not going to backtrack on this. You don't have to hope or expect that maybe eventually we'll get around to talking about Islam after we've achieved this or after we've achieved that. You know we're on it now. We've already been getting great results in our first year. We're already winning polls all over social media, which are including even the Conservatives. We are going to succeed at this. We are going to stand up to this. All you have to do is join us. I'm very grateful for support, and we know we have a lot of supporters who haven't yet joined. Please do. We need your contribution. We need you on board. No one needs to know. If you're afraid of someone finding out, don't. Nobody needs to know. All you have to do is sign up, get on board, to whatever extent you want. If you want to stand for election, then please do that. Come forward. We are training people now. We've got training days coming up. But this can be stopped. Now, you can play around with other parties who might get there eventually, but you know that we will do it now. It must be done now. There's still time to turn this around, but you must join us. Do it. Do it, or I can assure you, your granddaughter will be wearing a burqa. You can think I'm crazy for saying that, but ask yourself, are you sure? Are you really sure that I'm wrong about this? We will be an Islamic state within a few decades if we don't move and take action now. And the vehicle is there for you. I have been standing up to this for years. I have never wavered. I have never backed down. And I'm not going to start now. Stand up for this country. Stand up to Islam. It is a bully, and your children and grandchildren will pay a very heavy price if you don't. Join us. forbritain.uk/join. We will fight back now.